Welcome, team. I'm so excited you're getting access to these videos because hopefully the bite-sized amounts will help you immensely in growing from step to step. Let me just ask a couple questions before we jump in. Have you ever gotten to the end of the month and you're headed to a PDM and you're like, I blew 42. I don't really actually know what this means. I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to show up with. And you know what? Actually, this was just a bomb month, so fuck it. I'll show up. I'll be there. Setting intentions and showing up for those intentions is honestly more important than even the goals. Knowing what your goals are, knowing where you're going just means that you're going to waste less time trying to zig and zag when you could go up or down. That was a really bad analogy, but hopefully you followed it. So today we're going to talk about these PDM planners. These things are beautiful. They're going to be in your planners. They're at the end of the month. And there's a way to utilize your planner so that it's much easier when setting up for the end of the month. It's easy to get lost in the weeds. Listen, I think our whole group is neurodivergent, so it is very easy to want to set something up every day, but not always make it. At minimum, if you can at least get your weeks done, so not even your daily planner, not your morning, not your evening, but a minimum your weeks, I think you will find that this will be much easier. So first step, you're going to fill in your goal here. And you're just going to write, let's say your service goal was 2,000, your total guest was 100. God, I hope not, because that average ticket would be exhausting. But anyway, what was your retail? Was it to sell 3 items? Was it $1,000? Was your pre-book 60%? Was your pre-book 90%? What's your average ticket per guest? And then how many times did you plan on hitting social media? Listen, I don't care if it's once a week. I don't care if it's 6 times a month. Whatever you're doing to get out of your comfort zone and be able to let people know you exist. Guys, 9 times out of 10, people are not sitting in your chair in your room because they just don't know you're an option and they don't know why you're doing it. It's not the process, it's not the product, it's why are you showing up for them, because that will allow them to know why to show up for you. And then the last one is how many shifts. So I work 12 shifts a month. You might work 18 shifts a month. Whatever that looks like for you that month is totally lovely. Before you get into your actuals, because you're going to have to do some research for that, I just want you to write out, how did you win? I cannot tell you how many times I overthink this or I see other people overthink this. Your wins are yours. No one can take away a win, ever, unless you let them in your head, which no one should be renting space there but you. So whether your win is more breakfast at home with the doggo, whether your win is more dates with your partner, whether your win is an epic service number, I don't care. This is your page to fill in to tell your leadership team what you're proud of. And when you fill one of these out for a year and see where your wins navigate, you'll learn a lot about yourself in retrospect. So fill out what your top win was, then come back and fill in your actual numbers. If you are setting your goals correctly, I suspect that you will only hit them about 50% of the time. Setting goals is something leadership will help you do until eventually you'll figure out, okay, this is how I want to do it. And listen, I know there's a couple people on our team that it's like, okay, Elizabeth, I wrote down that goal, but this is the goal I really want. You're totally allowed to do that. But are you showing up for yourself in the way that you need to be able to win at the rate that you are playing? That was a whole lot of you. My job is just to cheerlead. Erica's job is just to cheerlead. So what you're going to write down next is what didn't work. As you are growing and as you are learning this dance called career and life and home and work and friends, you're going to find that what didn't work may be super easy, top of mind, because you're still fresh in it, or what didn't work may be super hard and you got to do a little digging. It's okay with either one of these, but don't leave this one blank. What are you most excited about? What is it in the next coming month that you're like, man, this is going to be off the chain? I don't know. Do kids say that anymore? Okay. Anyway, what's amazing? And then what did work? You notice I have one option for what didn't work and we have 2 options for what did work, because what I know is at the end of the day, when you ask a human what didn't work, often they're going to give you a list like this. But if you give them what did work, they're going to just look at you and be like, Those aren't your voices, those are someone else's. So what did work? How did you show up? What did you do that makes you magical? If you are struggling with this, these are the things to ask leadership about. Hey, I don't know what did work, but look at my numbers. Hey, I don't know what worked, but I did feel good this month. Hey, I don't know what worked because I'm really struggling. Let us help you fill these things in. Next, how'd you do on your committed actions? What did you commit to last time that you are working on this one? So like, how did you do? If you did not do super well in your committed actions, we may need to talk about time management. We need to talk about what are committed actions. Think of it as a place to serve and grow, not a place of less than. All right, what did you do differently this month? Did you set the alarm differently? Did you cook eggs differently? Did you show up for your bestie differently? Did you show up for your guests differently or your students? Whatever answer this is, again, you guessed it, it's yours. And then what support do you need this month that you are filling out to go forward? And who do you need it from? So maybe it's, I need to rely on my wife more. And then from who? My wife, right? All right, so you almost have this page turned in, but now it's time for bonuses. And I think a lot of us are getting lost in the weeds. How do we do it? How do we track it? So your leadership team has requested that we start filling this in with you. So let's say your service goal was 2,000 and your actual was 2,100. You will notice that the ones that are blocked larger are the ones that we are typically goal tracking on. So 2,000, 2,100, retail goal was 1,000 and we hit 900. Pre-book was 90 and we did 91, and average ticket was 70 and we did 69. Listen, there's going to be months that happens. We allow you to set a temper tantrum. It's totally fine. So now I'm going to go through, you can circle, you can highlight whatever makes your life easiest. I'm going to make sure that I highlight service. Oh, I didn't hit my retail. I did hit my pre-book. So I'm going to make sure I highlight those two so that when I fill in the workflow, I know exactly what I'm writing in and I know exactly what I'm getting from the bonus. So if you have questions about bonuses, make sure to set up an extra meeting so that your leadership team can make sure to support you, because you should always know what you're making, when, and where. All right, so that's part one. I'm going to go ahead and put this in the same video because you should be filling these out at the same time. Sometimes your action items may not be filled out until you're with leadership, and that's totally okay. But you just want to make sure you're setting 3 realistic action items that you can accomplish. If you're on a cusp of like, I just need change, but I don't know what needs to be different, then maybe these action items need to stretch you a little bit more. Goals this month, you're going to set with your leadership. So what's your service, retail, pre-book, people, average ticket, and how many social medias? This is one that I'm seeing is a little confusing to people due to the amount of space I have for words. I did not reword it, but let me help you out a little bit. What is your next level? Is your next level a 4? Oh, hello. Is your next level a 2? So whatever your next level is, what is the service dollars for level 2? What's the service dollars for, or retail dollars for level 2, pre-book for level 2, and average ticket for level 2? It's not to say that you always want to set your goals as your next level, but if you know that you're tracking these goals so that you are on the way to those goals, you will know when you're really close. Listen, when we level jump, it often feels like, oh my God, I'm never going to get there. And then all of a sudden we're running numbers as leadership and we're like, wait, I think this person jumped last month. If you want to make more money faster, please help us help you by making sure we know where everybody is. In the meeting, when we have PDMs, what did you learn? What do you need to make sure you take on? All right, do you have a quarter review next month? So let's say we're doing a PDM in January and you know February is coming up. All right, so in February, no, we don't have a PDM. But if this were February, we would know in March that yes, we have a quarterly review at our PDM. Now, one of the things that's changing this year is our quarterly reviews will also be with our vision planners, so we can make sure that we are closing the gaps on what is expected, where you think you are, and where you're going. And then, are there fierce conversation topics? I hope that you are not waiting to once a month to meet with somebody about fierce conversations. These are things that we find as an open door policy. If you have a microaggression, please don't wait 30 days. That would be under a 24-hour direct. Please come let us know so we can show up and serve you. But fierce conversations may be along the lines of, hey, Elizabeth, you told me I was getting a bonus, but I haven't gotten one in like 3 months, even though I'm filling out the workflows. It might feel fierce because you are worried about offending me, but I'm going to tell you, I want to show up to serve you. There may be other conversations that I can't even think of, but just write out some notes so you feel prepared showing up. And I will make sure when you say, hey, I need to have a fierce conversation, I will make sure that I show up and listen. The rest of your leadership team will as well. So fierce conversations are always going to be the last item or the first item, whichever one makes you feel the most comfortable to move on and groove and do the things you need to. All right, we finished out the month, we finished out the year. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to getting to grow you and see you smash your goals.